G'day everyone and welcome back to episode 51 of the Boy Boy Waffle podcast. Today we have top 5 draft prospect Elijah Hewett. Thanks heaps for coming on today, mate.
All good. Thanks for having me, Bailey.
How'd you first get involved in footy?
Yeah, so it's probably started, back as probably a 5 or 6 year old playing Oz kick, just kind of going through the ranks as a kid, and all you want to do is play with your mates, have a bit of fun. You know, you're playing in the schoolyard, and then you kind of go outside of school and go play community footy. So yeah, loved every bit of the Oz kick journey. I think that's kind of where you build a bit of a love, and you play multiple sports. Yeah, footy was just one of the sports, and kind of went up the ranks, and then you go to school footy, and that takes priority, and then you kind of get up, and then it comes to your draft year, and everything's changing. So I've been a part of a lot of different teams, but I started pretty young, as a lot of the footy players do, and just I've loved it ever since.
Yeah. Who were some of your idols growing up?
I've had quite a few. I don't go for a team. I've just watched individual players over time. I think throughout his reign, Dusty was awesome to watch. That 2017 onwards, even pre-Dusty, like in 2015, obviously being WA boy, a lot of exposure to him, and he's amazing. So I think those two, and then more recently a bit more Petrarca. Probably since 2020 he's been great. Even 2021 he was obviously awesome. So I think combination of those three have been really awesome to watch, especially considering I'd kind of started to get a lot more into my footy more recently in the last probably 3 years. So I think a bit of Dusty and Petrarca mostly.
Yeah. When did you sort of start to take your footy seriously?
So I used to play baseball. That was my main sport. And then it kind of came to a point where I had to make a decision between baseball or footy. So I made that decision on par with my dad, and I think that was about 2 years ago now. So I would have been just hitting 16 or 15, and I made this to give it all to footy. And that was kind of when I started to take it fairly seriously. I think it's probably the start of last year when I was like, if you really want to go for it, you kind of got to really crack in. And then obviously this year's been a product of not just work I did in the pre-season, also work I've done for the last 12 months. So it's all kind of starting to come together, and hopefully come November it works out. Was there
a point where you thought, sort of before this year, that you thought you might be a chance to make the AFL?
I've always kind of had a good belief myself that I put the work in, the results will come. I don't know if I had the thought process or belief that I would be in the exact position I am now. But I always had the dream, and definitely never doubted myself that I had the ability. It was kind of just a matter of timing and putting all the pieces together, and they're slowly coming together bit by bit. So I'd never really doubted myself. I always had that confidence that with a bit of ability and some hard work, that things tend to play your way. So just sticking to the process.
Yeah, how important do you reckon that decision to give up baseball was for you and just stick to footy?
Was huge, because I'd only ever envisioned myself playing baseball as a kid. That was kind of what I wanted to do professionally. And I was starting to go down that path, playing for Australia, and starting to really take that on board. And then it came to a point where if you wanted to play professional baseball, you kind of had to move to the States and give everything for that. And I was, I wouldn't have been mature enough to make that decision at the time. I was, pretty young, and still had a lot of growing to do, both as a person and, sporting wise, physically. But maturing was really key at that point, and I wanted to knuckle down on some academics and finish off year 12 strong. So I finished off my schooling strong. So I decided to stay in Perth, pick football, and the rest is history. I haven't looked back one bit. I think it was the best decision I made.
Yeah, what is it like being debuting in the Waffle this year?
Yeah, it's been great. I started my pre-season with them and wasn't 100% sure whether I was going to, play as early on as I thought, as what, occurred. But I always thought, if I'd be a good sniff to play, and whatever position they put me in, I'd take it, with both hands and run. And lucky enough, I had a pretty good pre-season, and was called out for round one. And I had a bit of a rough round one. But then after a couple of weeks of settling in and feeling in, I started to build some good form. Then unfortunately I got COVID. for just before our National Academy game, and so got that. And then even after I got COVID, I got the flu, so I kind of had the combination of the two, and I was really sick for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then I only kind of just got over it the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm back to 100% now, but yeah, it was a slow process getting over it. But yeah, going back to your question, it was it was great. 20 days have been great, and we're looking pretty successful. So yeah, finals should be really interesting.
Yeah, was there many nerves sort of leading up to that first game, or pretty calm?
Yeah, no, tons of nerves. And it's kind of just because of the fact I'd never played probably in football such a high level. And, you're playing with guys that have, played AFL football and more, 200 game players for Swan. So it's a pretty big deal. And then, I've never played in a crowd as big. So I remember not being so nervous, but then running out to the ground, and we had like a Indigenous ceremony, and it just been really overwhelmed. And I wish I looked back. I wish I probably had been a bit more calm and relaxed, but I was just so eager to get out there that when I was out there, I probably wish I'd, as I said, been a little bit more relaxed. But that's it, and learn from that, and hopefully when I get to debut in the AFL, I take some of those lessons across. That you want to be as calm as possible and be as comfortable as possible. And put yourself in a situation that you kind of feel, out of bounds. So yeah, I think that's the best part about it, is all the learnings that I can take to the next level, hopefully.
Yeah, how have you found the experience of the Waffle, and how much do you think that's benefited to your footy this year?
It's been very beneficial just to learn different roles, learning tons about the game. And it's not easy, but you can kind of get a bit complacent in your draft year, playing with kids your own age and dominating. But this has been really beneficial in regards to still fighting for a spot. It's been a while since I've really been scraping for a position in the team, and this has been great. So each session you to come with intent, and each game is the added pressure, because now I'm not fighting for nothing. I'm fighting for a spot in the team. So I've been really really working on things over the pre-season, trying to nail down on some things. And I've learned some great lessons that will hopefully help me in the next level. But it's one of those things you learn to play in bigger bodies, and you learn different setups and structures that are a bit foreign as a kid. As a kid, you're not really nailed in defensively. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I'll take to the next level and kind of set me up a little bit early. So give me a bit of a head start, I reckon.
Yeah. What's it been like representing your home state?
It's amazing. I think people can take it for granted. It's something I personally, am very honoured to do. I take it with a lot of pride, just because I know how great of a state WA is, and football is bled in this state, and I think people people in WA footy fans generally do care about how the state teams are going, because it's the future of WA footy. So being part of the leadership group for the state school, I really do take it seriously, and the trajectory of WA football is really important with the younger generations. So not even just our 18s program, 16s program are pretty I'd take tons of notice in and chat to some of the boys. So I think in order to be a successful football state, you got to have the right programs in place for younger ages. And WA, it's imperfectly, and I think it's always obviously a work in progress. But I think WA football is amazing, and representing your state is something that should never be taken for granted. It's a massive privilege, and you try and do all you can to best represent your state.
Yeah, with the national championships going on in the minute, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Obviously, haven't played with kids my own age for quite a while. So this is last weekend was the first time I played with kids my age for like 10 months. Cause, I've been playing up. So that in itself was interesting, and it was great because you kind of just have that added confidence that you can, if you can deal with the bigger bodies, you can easily deal with these kids your own size, so your own age. So yeah, I've loved coming back and being a part of the leadership squad, and being a part of a great team, and hopefully we'll be pretty successful these next couple of games. But great bunch of kids, been through all the ranks of them, for 15, 16, 17s. Absolutely love it. Love the coaches. Great program to be part of. And as I said before, hopefully we can be successful the next couple of games.
Yeah, what's it like being in that leadership program?
It's good. We've got a couple others of us, and I think it's just a matter of setting boundaries and also setting high standards for the team that people can look to for guidance. And it's really important that as a leader, you're there to serve the team, and the best interest of the team. I guess there's a lot of things that determine success, but to play good football, but also to help aid and guide their development. So I'm kind of a part of that process, and as I said, I'm pretty proud to be a part of it. And I think whether or not I was a part of the leadership group, it wouldn't faze me, because I think I have some strong leadership qualities that can help with the boys. And we've got a lot of new kids in the state side that haven't played state footy, so I think making them feel as comfortable as possible is definitely one of my main objectives throughout this national championships.
Yeah, do you feel any sort of pressure on yourself being one of the better players in the championships?
Look, mate, it's a tough question. Pressure is kind of always on you in everything you do. If you want to be at the top level, I think it's a matter of acknowledging it, identifying it, and embracing it. And you take the challenges as they come, grab them with both hands, and compete. And I think for me, it's I think I play my best footy when I'm buying into a team's process and worrying about team success rather than individual success. It's quite a funny thing when you're really geared towards winning and team success. You end up playing better individually, and that's how I found personally. When you're focused on my own footy, I tend to not be as great. Whereas when I'm focused on the team and helping other individuals out, I'm playing. That's how I reckon I'm playing my best. So yeah, it's been a good championships, and the pressure is going to be there regardless. If you can't handle the pressure, elite sport isn't going to be your preferred option. So I think you just acknowledge it, as I said, and you just accept the challenge and love it, because they're always going to come to you. I think just being as competitive as possible and taking advantage of all the resources is the best way to handle it.
Yeah, what does sort of the lead up to the draft look like from you from now on?
Yeah, so I finish off these championships, got a couple of weeks left. Finish that off, then head back to Swans. We got a few home and away rounds left, which should be good. I might play a Colts game, maybe one or two, I don't know. And then hopefully head back into the lead side, the senior side, we'll see. And then finals is right around the corner. So hopefully play that final series. Swans is looking pretty strong. I think, good chance we'll make finals and go as deep as possible. That's kind of been the aim since the preseason is to go as deep as possible and hopefully win a flag. I think that's where a lot of the boys are geared to right now. And, successful or not, I think the boys can be really proud of how good the season's been. But last year they made finals and was knocked out in the first round. So I think, you want to keep improving each year. So I'm sure the goal will be to go as deep as possible. And, I have all faith in the boys and the coaching staff that we'll be able to do it. Then after that, that final series, when that knocks off, I don't know if there's any I don't think there's any state or national academy left. And we have the draft combine. And then you kind of got a bit of a break. And then, November 23rd or 24th comes the draft. So, a bit of state, bit of Swannies left. And I think that tends to wrap up the season.
Yeah, is there a team you want to get drafted to, or are you just happy to get drafted to anyone?
Yeah, it's a question I've got quite a lot recently, funny. But now, beggars can't be choosers. You take what you get. Just I think blessed to be fortunate enough to be potentially in an AFL list in a couple of months' time, and I'm confident that wherever I go, I'll be able to have an impact. And that's regardless of what side you go to. You really want to go in there and have a good first impression and work your way in, and you aim for round one to try and play. You don't make that, you aim for round two, and consistently setting goals and having goals that may seem unreachable, but I think the way to success is setting those high goals and doing everything in your power to reach them. So whatever club hopefully I go to. It will be. It wouldn't faze me too much. A lot of people saying, asking questions, you want to stay in WA? Look, it doesn't faze me one bit. It's kind of just, you love the sport, and I've dreamt of, playing AFL football for a couple of years now. And if given the opportunity, you don't tend to care where it is,
Yeah, what's it like having similar traits compared to Christian Petrarca?
Yeah, I can see some of the comparisons. Obviously, he's a bit of a power type player as myself, and he goes down forward and can have an impact offensively, which I'd like to say I'm pretty versatile in that regard as well. But I think to optimize your own performance, you kind of want to pick and choose aspects of certain players, but you don't want to be drawn towards one player too much.
Yeah.
You watch highlights and stuff and you think it's awesome, but I think trying to be the best version of yourself, I know it sounds cliche, is really important, because you can get caught up trying to be certain individuals, but being the best version of yourself can sometimes be a lot more beneficial than trying to be a version of someone else, which is unachievable, because we're all unique and everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. So I love watching Petrarca play and the way he goes about it. And I do think, I can see the comparisons and can see some similarities, but, we also have a few differences, and I think embracing them is what's really important.
Yeah, what would you say to anyone sort of coming through trying to get drafted like yourself?
Yeah. As in they're going to the draft year next year, or they're same age as me?
Sort of coming through in the next couple of years.
Yeah, okay. I think something I've really learnt, and I'm starting to really appreciate is understanding that if you do the work early enough in the preseason, and you really obviously put in the work and everything that needs to be done, you probably put yourself in a real good position in season. So I remember did tons of work in the preseason, and then season started, and I wanted to kind of keep that work ethic and keep doing, overloading myself, but you kind of started to impact on my game day performance because I was trying to do too much. So I think taking a step back and realizing that in season is a bit more of a maintenance stage, and once you put the work in the preseason, the in season tends to take care of itself. It's not trying to overload it too much, because the mental strain can be there, and you do need to take some breaks during the weeks. And I wasn't having days off at all. So I think having a good balance and break, and as I think probably the most important part is having a balance in your draft year, even your underage year. Like, you just don't want to be everything football. And this, I've seen it too many times, people that want to give up everything for football. There's just something about having a good balance and allowing yourself to turn off and switch off and focus on something else is so important. Like, I've got a job and I'm also at uni, and it's a great balance to have, where you can go somewhere else and not even think about football, because it's a very draining thing, football, especially when you're on the track, and you love it tons. I love it so much, but if you're constantly thinking about it and sitting at home all day and not doing anything else, all you want to do is train and stuff like that, you're not setting yourself up to succeed. So I think getting a real strong balance of having a social life, whatever you work, uni or school, and maybe a bit of work, and things tend to work itself out really well.
That's everything I've got for you tonight, mate. Thanks heaps once again for coming on.
All good. Thanks, Bailey. Appreciate it, mate.